Hey, LeDrop, what time is it?
It is non-fungible time. Welcome everybody to episode 1 of non-fungible time with your hosts, Gringo HODL and LeDrop WithCheese. I'm coming to you from the metaverse. And today's episode, we're going to call A Tale of Two QUIDD Whales. And today we are uncovering QUIDD, the marketplace that is owned by Anamika Brands. And they have gamified collecting. They are onto something that is so amazing right now. And in this episode, we're going to uncover exactly why QUIDD, you need to get on board immediately. Dean, Gringo HODL, so great to be with you on this episode and every episode moving forward, as we've both been collectors for a couple years now, deep into NFTs. So we're going to share all of our alpha with you guys for free because we're decentralizing the world. We're making it a better place by learning what each other's knowledge is, and we all going to make it. Dean, tell us a little bit about your collecting.
WAGMI. So it's interesting. I had heard about QUIDD a long time ago, I believe, but back during the boom during the bull market with all the new NFT projects, I noticed some overlap with a lot of these marketplaces. And at the time I was very much into Wax, and Wax had a lot of the big brands. But then recently I ran into QUIDD again, and actually, really honestly, for the first time. I had never really taken a strong look at it. And so I remember I was all excited because Joey, LeDrop WithCheese here, he's big time into the big brand NFTs. So I shared it with him. And of course, he was already a whale on there. I don't know how many thousands of NFTs you have, but quite a few on QUIDD. And so I thought it was interesting. I would approach it, as a newbie to QUIDD, but also as a experienced user in general in this space. So I kind of went into QUIDD from that viewpoint, and Joey and I kind of shared ideas. It was kind of fun. It was like, hey, let me dive into this a little more and kind of learn about some of the more recent drops. And we talked about that before we started filming. What really piqued my interest about QUIDD was the Interstellar Realty Bridge to Mars. Is that what it's called?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, that one. Because they are dealing with Sandbox as far as they're building a bridge, I believe in May, that will go live, where you can use the avatars, the avatars that are for sale on QUIDD. They will be interoperable with the Sandbox game. So you can actually move your avatars into that game, and they're augmented reality. They're really cool. You can play with them at your home. And I have a funny picture with my pet, with one of my dogs. So anyway, that was an exciting thing to see. Was these, I believe it was the first drop with utility on QUIDD. Is that correct, Joey?
Yes, absolutely. And it's like you said, the interoperability is something that's been lacking with all of these virtual worlds being built on different blockchains with different utility and features. But finally, QUIDD, their own drop. And yes, you are a whale on that, right? Like, tell us your stats.
You are the whale, but I'm the baby whale learning. So for me, it was my first time really doing a drop. And so Interstellar, I had actually missed it by a day for the first drop of it. So I kind of waited. The second drop, I think that QUIDD has launched recently with utility, is Arc. What is it? The Arc Escape from Extinction. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the one I just really was like, okay, I want to learn QUIDD because Joey, he's been in QUIDD. He was excited about it. I was like, okay, I'll learn this. I'll sit down and learn this wallet. Amazing experience. One of the best experiences I've had I wouldn't say it's completely Web3 because they're kind of like Web 2.5. You can buy on a traditional like Web 2 browser. You can use your debit card in there. However, they do have non-fungible tokens, like, for example, Interstellar Realty Bridge to Mars, and then the Arc Escape to Extinction, I believe, as well. So those two, they are compatible with, I believe with QUIDD, you can actually choose between 4 different blockchains they're working on to actually mint your NFTs to each one of those chains. But it would only be one chain at a time, obviously. So you could choose. But yeah, that was the exciting thing. I just went into the Arc Extinction, And my first time really trying to compete with those guys and those gals on there, I kind of, at first I was in first place on a few of the, on all of the sets actually, but then the awards by bad luck, I actually was airdropped higher ranked award NFTs on there, which are the second most valuable tier. Is that correct? I believe it's shinies are the most valuable, and then it's award, right?
Yes. And the thing that I really love about Quid and what I've always loved is that you can just collect digital collectibles that aren't necessarily ever going to be on a blockchain,
Yeah,
but
they're
they're
cloud.
official,
Mhm.
and they do have different tiers for each, like you said, shiny is like the error cards. If you're an old baseball collector or something and you get a Frank Thomas and you get the mark on his arm from his rookie card, like that's the shiny level, which is the top tier. And then you have your awards, which are super rare. And you only get awards if you're a whale collector like Gringo HODL or myself. you know, like I got my first award on Quid, I want to say about a year and a half ago when I first discovered it. And I was like, oh my God, they have Atari mintable as NFT collectibles. All right, yes, I'm going to collect. Bye, 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 bye. And you're competing with other people that understand the value of getting in early. And I have some awards from Atari. I have a ton of cheese boards, actually.
Oh, ironically.
But they're mintable, right? And so I was like, give me 10 of these, 10 of these, 10 of these, like Rodney Dangerfield walking into the clubhouse. So it's all good, man. Quid has
Well,
been
and what's exciting is these are Animoca brand NFTs basically. And what are you paying for those, if I might ask? Like on average, some of these rare award NFTs, for example, how much would you pay in general? Would you think?
so I would say get in right now. I am not a financial advisor.
Yeah, me
Gringo
neither.
HODL is not a
We
financial
are not financial
advisor,
advisors. We just purely
but
entertain purposes.
as is like a NFT collector, a hobbyist, and people that collect things, you got to get into Quid like right now, because you can get like Atari awards for like $15 or less. There's only a few hundred ever minted. So yeah, now's the best time to get into Quid. Take a look around. Some of the old school shit that I have that I love, like a Godfather official movie poster. There's only a
Oh
couple
yeah, the
hundred
Summer of
editions.
Cinema, right?
Yes,
Summer of
Summer at
Cinema.
Cinema is the collection on Quid. But take a look around. They have Disney, they have HBO, they have huge brands, and on this marketplace that they've gamified, that's a lot of fun
Oh,
for a
so
collector.
much fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. If you don't mind me like saying, like that is one of the best NFT collecting experiences is how they've gamified the app. Like it is literally addictive. Like, and that's the thing. They just need a bull market because I believe if users discover Quid, you can't put it down. It's so much fun. Like I think I ended up third place overall on ARC, and that's my first try, so I'm proud of that. But it's like there are so many little things I learned about how to collect NFTs on Quid that I think if anyone out there is used to buying NFTs or digital collectibles in general, like Quid is just a smooth, amazing, and actually very affordable experience in general, especially if you're trying to accumulate big brand NFTs, like he said. And then some of the other brands on there, like GI Joe. How crazy is that? Like I bought some GI Joe NFTs, man. They have Rick and Morty NFTs on there. Well, I guess they're not non-fungible tokens. A lot of these collectibles on Quid, you have to remember, like, well, not you, but the audience in general, that some of these are predated non-fungible tokens. Really, they were digital collectibles on the cloud. So that's the distinction between digital collectibles and non-fungible tokens. The non-fungible tokens have the mint capacity on Quid, which means they are non-fungible. You can mint them to Ethereum chain, for example, and then you could transfer out your non-fungible tokens. Not everything on Quid is a non-fungible token. There are also a lot of digital collectibles that are cloud-based, for example, but they're still big brands. So there's value there in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And as like a new collector, if you're like looking to get into NFTs, I would highly recommend QUIDD as like
Great
your
starting point.
platform, because it connects to your Apple Pay. You can pay fiat. You never need to even own a wallet. But if you hear about Anamika brands going down, maybe you want to mint all of those IP that you purchased on the platform and put them into your wallet. But as a new collector, you want to take a look at things that have CE next to them or have the yellow badge that says mint. Those are capable of being minted as non-fungible tokens. They listed this intellectual property in official deals with major brands that we can all collect. And it's up to us as the user to put it on the blockchain forever or hold it on the exchange. We know that based on recent history, you don't want to keep anything on exchanges. So my recommendation is to mint anything that you purchase and put it in your wallet. And if you're really concerned, then you get a hard wallet like a Ledger and put it on there as well, or just move it there permanently, at least till May, when the Interstellar Bridge to Mars avatars will be usable in the sandbox.
I'm excited. I have my premium land on Sandbox ready to go, and I want to have it covered in these avatars. Like that's the thing. And Joe, you got to come join.
Oh yeah, I'll be there. I'll bring my army of avatars. Yours is bigger though, because you've been.
I don't know, man.
You've been a whale lately on the Interstellar.
I'm just aped in. It's hard not to ape into QUIDD. That's a warning.
Yes. And with the Interstellar collection, we were texting this week. We're like, we have to talk about this. But basically, we had two different buying strategies approaching the collection as people that have collected baseball cards from back in the day till NFTs for the last 2 years plus. And tell us what your strategy was when you were buying Interstellar.
Well, that's the thing. I started learning from Interstellar how QUIDD, that was really the first collection I was excited about that I really just kind of aped in. So I think I finished on that collection maybe 9th or 10th or something like that. And so I started seeing how a lot of these big collectors, like they're very sneaky, like last minute. But before the collection, like if there are like 4 sets inside of the collection, and it's ranked by points, and obviously the lower the serial number, the more valuable the card. Scarcity is value. So they'll wait to the last minute, and then they'll just buy like a top 10 card from that collection, and they'll just all of a sudden be right above you. And then you can tell these people, they're very experienced. So I'm not. So I kind of had to learn these little things on the fly, especially for the ARC Extinction, that drop. I was like, okay, I think I've seen this before. And so I just I did that. From Interstellar, I learned wait until the collection's almost over. And then last minute, if it's not too expensive, depending on your budget, not financial advice, but I was like, okay, I'm willing to spend $10 for a top 10 NFT in this collection in order to get my rank up. Because the thing is another thing I learned as well as a tip for someone getting started, even if you finish first on a set in the collection, it doesn't mean you're going to get airdrop the award NFT the first rank. That's something else I learned the hard way with ARC Extinction. I assumed if I get ranked first on every one of these sets, then I will be airdropped number 1 of the award NFT, which is very valuable. It's not the case. It's a random airdrop. So that's something to remember as well. So that's one of the reasons I ended up 3rd place on ARC. And that's what I learned from that experience that is exactly where I lost. I got 1st place on all of the other sets out of 4. And actually the very first set was the materials. I ended up getting 2nd place, I believe. So 2nd and then 4 firsts. But then I got 5th place overall from the airdrops from the award NFTs that I was given. And that is actually what put me down lower. So now here's how I could win. I'll tell you this. I could win right now if I wanted to spend about $60 more, but I don't. I'm actually satisfied. I'm not. Another thing about the art game, they drop little hints. This is an exciting part about these quid drops, and this is fairly new. I've noticed on their Twitter. So they'll give you little hints about, and one of the things they said was, don't be greedy. So I don't know. I don't want to spend that extra $60, even if I could get first place, because I kind of want to sit back and see if I'll be rewarded anyway. Because I already have all the awards. I think I'm gonna get the ARC NFT, but anyway, I digress. It's a really amazing and fun gamified experience. Like, you will get hooked. So enjoy.
Yes. Quid has been great for NFT collectors and just collectors in general, because Quid's been in business since 2016, and they started out of New York City, got acquired by Anamika in 2019. And now I feel like I've been reinvigorated to collecting on Quid, talking to you, because I kind of let it go dormant for a while. But right when we had our interview last week, you explained that Interstellar is popping off, and I'm like, okay, I'm buying in.
Yeah.
And my buying strategy for Interstellar was, all right, I need the lowest edition number for each character. Which characters do I think are going to be the most coveted in gameplay when they're released in the sandbox? So I bought a bunch of duplicates of the Martians per your advice, because the Martians,
They're the lowest numbers edition total, right?
Yeah, yes, there's only 150 Martians avatars, and I believe there's 10 or 15 kind of between that number of Martians. But at 150 only per Martian, a good piece of advice would be to buy the one that you like and get duplicates and make some money for yourself. Like, yes, you want to establish position early in anything that you think has intrinsic value with anything in life, right? And especially with this game, like you said, their first drop that has utility. And I think the avatars are super badass too. Like,
they're really good, man. I use the AR. Literally took a photo next to my dog with the one of the award NFTs from Interstellar, and it's impressive, man. Like, yeah, I love it. It's just, like I said, like the idea that, okay, here's the thing as well. Like, these are Animoca brand NFTs for how much? Like, they're like $10, some of them, for like low mints. Like, that alone for me is enough, because I don't, myself and most people I know, like, they don't know more about NFTs in general and Web3 than like Animoca brands, like their team, like they do a lot of research. So if they believe in Quid and they're a subsidiary, think about that. Where else can you pick up, that level, that quality, that almost sure thing built into anything in the NFT space than Animoca brands launching these NFTs that will be compatible, they'll be interoperable with Sandbox. Like, that's exciting to me, especially because, like I said, I am a landowner in Sandbox. So the other thing that's exciting is that bridge it goes both ways. It does. So another exciting thing about Sandbox is they have something called estates. And there's one that recently they gained, it was pretty famous, was Paris. So they built a little miniature Paris inside of the Sandbox, and you could go explore it on that estate. I believe possibly, potentially, and I'm completely speculating, I believe that could be what Animoca is working on with Quid and Sandbox behind the scenes, because they're invested in both. So I think there could be either an experience in Sandbox that is Mars, and so you can buy land on Mars, or Quid, they're very savvy in the space. They could build their own little metaverse, their own little Mars metaverse, and all of the players in the Sandbox, of course, they would want to go play on Mars. And so I think that's, I'm completely speculating, but you take how they choose their words, naming their project, Interstellar Realty Bridge to Mars, right? So it's like real estate on Mars. Well, there's real estate in Sandbox. So for me, that was very exciting, And like you said, like they look really good. They really do. Like, they're high quality augmented reality NFTs as far as I can see. So.
Yeah, and they have such a diverse range of movements. Like, if you go to Ready Player Me and you get your free you know, it's not even an NFT. It's just a digital avatar of yourself or however you want to customize it. There's only like 5 or 6 movements you could do in all of spatial with your avatar. With these avatars from Interstellar Mars, you can do what, like 50, 100 moves. It's like a long list. I didn't even count them all, but I was
Oh,
like,
it's
wow.
crazy. Like all the different dances and yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. Yeah, the Interstellar Realty Bridge to Mars. Like, here you guys go. We're
These are
we
the
actually
collections
use
I
this.
want to get in on.
Yeah, so this is just so people see that's the logo in Quid. Really cool project. You want me to
Yes,
show you want me to here? I'll show one of the Martians so people see.
yes,
Uh,
please.
so here's one of the Martians. Yeah, and then here, how about I make it dance?
Yeah.
Where's one here? Here we go. There you go. And I can make that into AR as well. You see the AR button on top?
Yes.
You can actually make that augmented reality in your own home. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm really pumped for what Quid's doing. I love that they're doing these inherent drops to their own brands with their creativity. And your speculation is probably more than speculation because you connected the dots of how they can actually integrate all of this. And right now, anyone can get in on this collection without ever setting up a wallet, which is
Yeah.
what I love. That's how we're going to get all the Web 2 people into Web 3 and leverage blockchain technology for the betterment of all of us. But the floor price on some of the avatars are as low as $1.49 right now.
I think that's like the lowest price they can list them for, and they're there for that price, right?
Yeah. And if you had to guess, you know, this all speculation, we're not financial advisors,
Yeah.
but if you had to guess, what do you think the return would be on spending $1.50 or $2.50 on a Martian in the future?
I don't know, man. I mean, okay. So any NFT with a supply of only 150 tokens, 150 NFTs, per avatar, that's a very low supply. So scarcity is value, as you know. And then you add into that, it's Animoca Brands, which is arguably the biggest player in Web3. I mean, they're even partnered with Yuga Labs on other side, for example. So, Animoca Brands, anything they touch, I want exposure to personally. I don't want to make predictions about prices, but $1.49, what do you think? 100x, 1000x? Who knows? Complete speculation, not financial advice, but I am holding until the moon, whenever that is. It could be 2 years from now. I don't know, but I am so bullish on Quid. What about you, man? What do you think?
I fucking love Quid, man. I've been on Quid. I forget what the date I signed up
You're an
was.
OG. I saw that. It's at least two,
It
three
was
years.
it was 2021 was the year I signed up for Quid, and then I got addicted to incentivized collecting and getting rewards that are actually worth something.
Legit NFTs as rewards. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm so bullish on Quid, and that's why we're doing this episode, is to kind of talk about how we feel about it. But Interstellar is the game you got to get in on. I feel like if I'm going to recommend anything on Quid right now, if you can just not know much and come on in quickly for cheap, $5 will get you 3 avatars for a game that I think we talked a number around at least 1,000 times X, right? Value.
It's possible. I mean, you've seen that with NFTs before.
Oh,
Like
yeah, definitely.
during a bull market, nothing's ridiculous. I think the next bull market's going to be the NFT bull market. So I don't know. Complete speculation.
Right, but we're both whales on there because I was looking on Quid earlier today, and I was just looking through some ARC animals. I try and pick up some here and there, and I saw Gringo HODL, #1 for one of the collections. And I'm like, oh my God, talking to him later
You know
today.
that guy.
Which
Yeah.
is super cool because I feel like us NFT collectors specifically, you know, if you think you're an NFT collector, you probably are, right? But you might be a maxi for Ethereum NFTs, which I know a lot of people are. And some people only operate on Tezos blockchain. But what QUIDD's doing is they're integrating multiple blockchains and presenting you with an affordable option of big brands where, you know, it's really up to the community to always dictate the value of these collections. And Dean and I both agree Interstellar Realty Bridge to Mars is what we're super bullish on right now. And the ARC, you know, you're
That's number
Noah.
2 for me. Like number one's
Animals.
definitely, yeah, number 1 Interstellar, I'd say, and the number 2 would be ARC, because they're both, you know, it looks like they're going to be interoperable. You'll be able to mint them on different chains. And what are the 4 chains that QUIDD uses? I know it's Ethereum, Wax, I believe Flow, and was it Binance? I believe. Let me take a look. I'm just trying to think of which chains they're interoperable with. Do you remember?
Yeah,
Do you remember?
I don't
Do you
remember.
remember? Yeah, it's
Not off my head.
yeah, I'll look it up later, but yeah, my bad. Yeah,
No,
so it's at
good.
least those 3 I know of. I you know, it's Ethereum, Wax, Flow, and I believe Binance Smart Chain. I think you can mint these 2. So that's really exciting. You know, the interoperability is there.
So what do you think we'll discuss next episode? What else are you bullish on?
Okay, well, here's another thing to talk about along the lines of what we've already been discussing with QUIDD is I'm sure you noticed that there's other partnerships with Animoca brands with other mobile gaming apps, one of which is GAMEE, GAMEE. That's another one that they're working with QUIDD, it looks like. And I think just complete speculation, you're going to see a lot more. You see a lot more collaborations between QUIDD and GAMEE, because they actually have basically GAMEE is think of it like an arcade. And, you know, you have all these mini games that you could probably play that are on Polygon. So their big NFT collection to play on game is GBots, and you can purchase those on Polygon Network. You can go through OpenSea. They're actually very, very affordable, not financial advice, but those are probably, you know, between, I think you can get rare NFTs on there for 15 Matic or something like that. So I think in the future you'll see a lot of collaboration between QUIDD and GAMEE, and I think you could see actually potentially that might be where they build some of these games on QUIDD. Like for example, the ARC Escape from Extinction. I could see that being a game on GAMEE, but complete speculation. So that's another one. Maybe that's something we can talk about next time.
Yeah, for sure. And I love hearing you speculate because you can't Google this stuff. There is no professional above what we're talking about who can be like, hey, LeDrop WithCheese and Gringo HODL, this is the best way to do things. There's no one doing that. And we have to collaborate and figure out how we're all going to win with collecting and just, you know, furthering our passions in life. And the reason why we put this whole show together for you guys is just to give you our honest opinion on what we're doing as hobbyists. Like, no one's paying us to do this. So
we're self-taught. We're just kind of learning this as we go, like everybody in this space. Yeah.
And in between us both, we have about 4 years of NFT collecting experience across many blockchains, not just the 4 that are QUIDD. We are going to be covering NFTs on Solana. We're going to be covering NFTs on every blockchain for the most part.
Wax, Chronos, you name it. Yeah.
Yes. And the ones that we don't know anything about, we're going to explore them. And we're going to show you guys and tell you guys what we think honestly about what you should expect, or if it's worthwhile, in our opinion, is not financial advisors. But yes, Dean, it's been.
Come on that journey with us. Come on the journey with us. Non-fungible time. We'll
Yes. And this
go on
has
this
been a
non-fungible adventure together.
non-fungible adventure. That should be the name.
It's not too late.
Yes, it's all good. But yeah, this has been a great episode, man. And we appreciate you guys tuning in for a tale of two quid whales and two different perspectives. And we can't wait to see you next episode. And Gringo HODL, it's always a pleasure talking to you. I always learn so much.
LeDrop with cheese. Same to you, my friend. Good seeing you, brother.